VANDUYN here. Just wanted to do a quick little video, quick little live stream. Say hi to you guys. You know, um, a lot of times when you're running a business, you got to think outside the box, and you got to repurpose stuff. A lot of times, you know, you can get a lot of use out of stuff that is thought of as junk, or you know, uh, what would you call it? Just junk basically. You can get a lot of use out of stuff that you think is probably, useless or junk, or you probably don't need it. So like for example, the wood chipper we came in this crate right here. Uh, this was a DK2 power. It's a decent crate, right? It's kind of flimsy and everything, but it did its purpose great. And then, the first time me and Grandpa were doing the wood chipper, we were just spraying it everywhere. And, while that does great for, just spraying it out and kind of regenerating the soil and type of stuff, it's not very organized at all. There's no organization in it, right? So it's just point and spray, it doesn't look nice, you know what I mean? Unless there's only one particular spot you're spraying it, and then you're building up a certain area. But the second time we did it, we're like, yeah, I'm gonna try spraying it into the bed of the side-by-side. And so I sprayed it into the back of the side-by-side, and it was working decent. But as you can, this would be 10 times worse. Wood chips everywhere, which isn't that big of a problem. I got a blower, I could blow it out, but it's just one more thing to add to the list. So I used this crate, was my next idea. Okay, and I could get it about halfway full, from the back. It would kind of slope down, and then it would start dumping out, which was nice. And then I talked to Grandpa, and we're like, Grandpa, we got to figure something out so we can get this fuller, so we can really get some stuff done. And so Grandpa and me came up with this design, right? It's basically the lid, but we cut a section off. We folded this metal all the way over, right? We just folded it over. We put these little chains so it's like a tailgate. Now we can get this thing like 95% full. Could we have come up with a better design and maybe got it 100% full? Just put a square hole in here or something and have it uptight. Yeah, we could probably do something like that. But this, it seemed like it was pretty easy to do. It didn't take us that long, maybe an hour to fab it up. Just bending over the metal and drilling the holes. And we put this hinge. You can't really see it, but there's a hinge right here, one of those long hinges. Grandpa just had it laying around. I mean, Grandpa is the king of collecting random stuff, and just never throwing it away, because he grew up in that era. See, there you can see the hinge. He grew up in the era of the Great Depression, where they don't throw anything away. They just repurpose everything, or save it until they can repurpose it, or it just lays around and it's junk, which you see a lot of people hoarding stuff, which definitely happens. But we were able to repurpose this crate, and man, let me tell you what, it makes it so much easier to spray. You dump a whole load of chips and then you just kick it around with your foot, and then it just looks so much nicer than if you're just spraying it everywhere. Like, so you guys can see, I did a nice little circle there around that tree. Now let me take you over to a section where we had just sprayed it. This one, we dumped this one too. We're not done doing this area, but you can see where we filled it in with chips, because I think the chips looks better than like that. That just looks kind of tacky to me, and it looks unkept, but that definitely looks a lot better. So there's a section up here where me and my son were just spraying it basically. And it doesn't look horrible, right? You can see this area where we kind of just sprayed it. I mean, you can see wood chips sprayed out to there. It's not as pleasing to the eye as, say, that is over there. You know, it's a lot more organized. So, you know, when you're running a business, you're gonna save stupid stuff all the time, you know, because you're gonna be like, oh, I might be able to use this, or I might be able to reuse that, or, you know, this isn't totally worthless. You know, it's tough keeping it, you know, organized though, all the stuff you keep. And then you gotta kind of determine, okay, when have I kept this too long? And then everybody always makes a joke, well, as soon as you throw it away, then you're gonna need it, right? You know, so there's that. So here's the super dump. She's dirty as always. She's killing it though. She's been working a lot. She has been working a ton. We had a worn out airline on the super dump the other day. One of the bands that was bolted to the frame broke, and it rubbed a hole in the airline. But I fixed it because I had a junction that I had saved from when I worked on my old dump truck back 3 years ago. You know, just one of those air couplers that connects two lines together. I saved it. I'm like, this is going to be so useful one day. One day I'm going to need this. Guaranteed. Kept it, threw it in my toolbox. Boom. Used it last week. You know, fixed an airline. I didn't have to buy an airline, you know. So you can see super dumps right there. We got the 120 getting ready to be chained up. We got a big demo job coming up. I'm just waiting on the permit to clear, and then we'll be in Ording doing that demo job. I'm excited for that. Super excited for that. So super dump's great, driver's great, business is going great. One of the things that I want to get your guys' opinion on, but I might do a different live stream, that way we can get some more people in here. Because if I put like a title like repurposing something, then, you know, only the diehards are gonna be in here. You know what I mean? Not everybody's gonna watch it. They're like, oh, it doesn't have to do with dump trucks, so I'm not gonna click on it. But since I got the diehards in here, I've been thinking of selling my black F350 and my gooseneck. I've been thinking of selling it mainly because I just don't get a lot of use out of it, you know? Where is that trailer? There it is. Trying to back up to this thing without mirrors is kind of tough. I think all side-by-sides should come with mirrors. I mean, that's not too much to ask, but mirrors would make a world of difference. All right, let's hook this up. Okay, so I'm thinking of selling the black F350 and the gooseneck. Want to get your guys' opinion on it since I got you in here. Thinking of selling it. Now, a lot of you guys are probably thinking, okay, why want to sell that in the gooseneck. Like you could tow the excavator around. I'm thinking of selling it and buying like a Ford Ranger or like a F-150 or something. And here's my reasoning. And so you guys can tell me if you think it's flawed reasoning or if you think it's good reasoning, or, you know, tell me what you think. So the F-350, I hardly ever take that to go bid jobs. Number one, because it's not fuel efficient. Like it gets like 13 miles to the gallon if I'm lucky, you know, and I'm always driving like, you know, 70, 80 miles, 100 miles, both ways to go do a bid. So I always end up taking the Escape, right? I always end up taking my wife's car. It's more practical, it's more comfortable, right? Way more fuel efficient. You know, it gets like 20 miles to the gallon instead of 13. So, you know, the average bid costs me, you know, like 40 bucks if I take the truck. 40 bucks adds up, man. Let me tell you what. And especially when you're doing these bids for free, you know. I always try and add that into the cost of doing the job. You know, I take that into account when I'm doing the job. But, I mean, a lot of times you just show up and tell somebody what it's going to cost, and they're like, oh, I can't afford that, you know. You just show up to talk to them, basically, you know, because a lot of people don't have the money that it takes to do the work that they want to get done. They want to get an idea of what they need to save, or if it's not even in the cards for them. So I found that I've done a lot of bids where they didn't pan out, and I spent 40 bucks, you know, 50 bucks just getting there, you know, and back. And then on top of that, I wasn't very comfortable because that truck is rough. I mean, it beats you up. It's a 350. It doesn't ride, you know, that great. What's up, Jerry? So this is what I'm thinking of selling this, you know. It's a great truck, you know. But I feel like if I look at any big company, like massive, like mega carriers or big companies, their foremans are, you got two types, right? One is either driving a big jacked up F-350, you know, and everybody thinks he's compensating, right? And then you got the guys that show up in the F-150. I mean, that is always the case. Like every mega carrier, their guys are driving around F-150s, you know, or they're driving the big jacked up, you know, F-350 with like monster truck tires, you know. I mean, there's only two types of guys. There's those two, F-150 or that, you know. And I feel like, you know, I'm not presenting the correct image when I show up in my wife's SUV, right? People don't expect a dump truck contractor to show up in an SUV like what I'm doing, right? And so I'm thinking like image-wise for the company, you know, image is important, you know. I'm thinking if I sell that truck, I get like a Ranger or an F-150, something that's more fuel economy, right? And quad cab, right? So if I do take the kids somewhere, it's easier to fit them in there. You know, I do cram the whole family in that F-350, you know, probably once a month, maybe once every 2 months, right? So I do cram them in there, but, you know, it's getting to the point where it's like, well, you know, the family's growing, we ain't getting any smaller, you know? So I'm thinking it might be time to get rid of it, get a quad cab, you know, or crew cab or whatever. But here's the thing that I'm struggling with, right? Okay, so I use this trailer, you know, to tow the excavator. Not very much, but I have used it a few times. I've used it to tow my grandpa's car, the side-by-side, you know. So here's the thing I've been thinking. Like, okay, so the F-350, it can tow a ton. you know, there's no question what it can tow, right? It can tow everything I got, basically, except for, you know, the 120 or whatever. Yeah, Chris. I mean, see, there's two types, right? Going back to what I said, there's two types. You get the big truck, you know, the dually or whatever, or you get the small F-150. Thank you, babe. My wife brought me out lunch. That's amazing right there. If you want to run a business and your wife is like this, you'll succeed. If she don't bring you lunch and stuff, you're going to fail. I mean, it's going to suck for you. Thank you, sweetie. So I'm thinking, if we did get a smaller pickup, I've been looking at the tow capacities. A Ranger can tow 7,500 pounds. F-150 can tow about 1,200 pounds, right? So the only thing, like if I traded my F-350 for one of those, the only thing I couldn't tow would be my excavator, right? I'd be able to tow everything that I've towed before, but just not the excavator. That's the only thing that I wouldn't have been able to tow. So I'm thinking, okay, so how much fuel have I wasted in the F-350 that I could have saved if I had a smaller pickup? You know, what are the downsides? What are the positives? You know, pros and cons. I made a list the other day, and I'm thinking, okay, do I really need my pickup to tow the excavator? Now, take a second to think about that before you answer. So, my pickup is like 20 feet long, roughly. I'm just guessing. I don't really know what the actual length of it is. This trailer is like 25 feet. So we're talking 50 feet. So we're talking 50 feet of length, right? 50 feet of length. I mean, that's not much shorter than my dump truck and tilt deck, right? It's not much longer, right? So I feel like anywhere I've taken you know, I've only taken the excavator to like 2 jobs with the pickup. Because 90% of the time, if I'm dropping an excavator off, I got to haul something. You know, I'm always trying to sell that too to the customer. Like, oh, if I'm taking this out, you should bring this in, you know, or, you know, so it's always kind of a sell option. See, that's a valid point, Chris, about the fuel tank. I have used the slip tank in the pickup quite a bit. I will say that. But I haven't used it to tow anything. Like, I don't really tow my excavator to a job that often with the pickup because this is a little too long. And the pickup, you know, just doesn't quite have it. You know what I mean? And I feel like if I bought a dually or something with more power, I probably still wouldn't tow it with that. You know, I would still probably use the dump truck because the dump truck's going to the job site anyways to haul out brush, haul out stumps. Yes. So there is the option. So here's what I'm trying to determine. Is that option more important than fuel economy? You know, or comfort, right? Because the smaller pickups are more comfortable. You know, they definitely are more comfortable. Now, here's the other thing. Okay, where do I see my business in 5 to 10 years? Am I going to be still driving an excavator to a job site? Hell no. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to be the one driving the trucks anymore. I'm going to be focusing in on more like delegating and bidding jobs, and you know, that's the type of stuff, management type stuff. That's what I'm going to be focusing on, and I'm going to be hiring out the labor intensive stuff, right? So I don't see myself needing like an F-350 in the future, because that's not the type of work I want to be doing in the future of my business. I want to be trying to transition myself more to a managerial position, right? I understand that I'm still too cheap to, you know, basically hire out my trucks to get worked on. I still will probably never do that. I will probably always be the one working on my trucks, unless it's something like super crazy, like replacing a motor or a transmission or something, you know. That's probably going to get hired out. You can put a hitch in an F-150. Yeah. I mean, most of them come standard with a tow package, right? So here's what I'm thinking. I've watched videos on, you know, Facebook, or not Facebook, YouTube, about like the towing capacities of like the F-150, the Ranger. They could easily tow my side-by-side. Doing 60 miles an hour down the road, you know, or tow a car 60 miles an hour, that's not an issue, I don't think. With a smaller trailer, not with this massive 25-foot trailer, obviously. So me and my wife have kind of talked like, okay, if we sold the F-350, we would sell the gooseneck. We would have to buy another trailer though, right? Yeah, a smaller trailer. You know, something a lot more. To fit the side by side. Yeah, something big enough to fit the side by side, or fit the side by side, or a car. So we were playing around with the idea of like a small dump trailer, you know, something that could easily fit the side by side or a car and be double use, right? So I've gotten a lot of times where somebody's like, hey, can you pull out this one stump? And it's like, I don't want to drive my dump truck for one stump, you know, or if somebody wants like 1 yard or 2 yards of gravel. It's like, I do not want to drive my dump truck out. Like, I'm going to spend more in fuel than I'm going to make. Like, it doesn't make any sense for me to do it. So I just bid it how I would bid a full load. And they're like, oh, that's too expensive. I can't do that. And it's like, well, yeah, I know. You need somebody with like a pickup or like a 5 yard or something. You may be right, Chris. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. It says it's rated to tow 7,500 pounds. I watched the videos like on TFL or TLF. They towed like 5,000 pounds up the pass. It did 60, no problem. You know, were they passing people? Probably not. They were definitely not passing people, right? But when you're not hauling a trailer, you'll easily be able to pass people on the freeway. No way, no, Brian. I mean, here's the thing, though. So how often am I towing a trailer with my pickup? So little. How many times do you think I've used this, honey?
Just a few times. What, maybe 5 times?
Maybe 5 times since I've owned it. And I've owned it, what, at least a year?
Yeah, at least a year.
Maybe a year and a half?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe a year and a half. I've owned this tilt deck, and I've used it 5 times, a total.
After your truck. Bought it after you bought your truck.
Yeah, I bought it after I bought the truck. Now, out of those 5 times, how many times could I just have used the dump truck? Every single time.
Yeah.
So, is it justifying the fuel consumption of the F-350, versus a smaller truck? Okay, so here's the other issue that we're going to run into is bed size, right? So, obviously with the Ranger or F-150, the bed size gets shrunk way down. I'm always buying metal and stuff. So I'm thinking, okay, if I did sell, I'd have to buy another trailer to haul the metal and stuff that I buy on kind of a semi-regular basis.
And I can drive it too.
Someone wants to pay me a couple $100 to pull a stump. I'm going to pull the darn thing. Definitely more open to a F-150 or Silverado rather than a Ranger. So, okay, I can get on board with that, Chris, an F-150. But here's the thing, though. So, I've been looking at like the differences and stuff. F-150, it's like 10 to 15 grand more for the same as a brand new Ranger. Like if you buy a brand new truck, you're spending 15 grand more on a 150 than you will a Ranger, right? That's a lot of money. 15 grand. I mean, that's, and the fuel economy is not as great. And so I still haven't decided F-150 or Ranger. Those are the two I'm still competing with in my mind. They do make a diesel F-150, which I've never driven it. I've never really watched. I haven't explored that option yet. Doing the work you'll do, you'll kill that Ranger real quick. I mean, you might be right, Chris. You might be right. But I feel like my truck sits.
And how often are you gonna tow
It
something?
sits so often. Like I'm hardly ever driving it.
How often will you tow something?
Yeah, how often do I tow something?
That's the thing.
Not very often. I mean, if I switched over and started trying to tow gravel with the Ranger, I agree with you. It would probably kill it quick.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing it every day. I mean, that's like a twice a year type thing, probably.
More in the summertime than.
No, I wouldn't be.
You think?
No, I'll be dump trucking until I hire another dump trucker. You go for a diesel? I mean, so I don't know what, like, I want to feel comfortable. That's the next thing. I think that's the most important thing on my list right now is I want to be comfortable.
I don't think it should be did.
Let me just say, you had a Ranger. Was it a 2021 or 2019 Ranger, John? Or was it the 2012 type? Because, so I was looking at the specs. So the Ranger isn't a compact size SUV anymore. It's a mid-class. So Ford upgraded it size rise, right? So there's kind of a stigmatism everybody has, like, oh, Ranger's a baby pickup, you know? But it's not a baby pickup anymore. It's a mid-class, right? So it can tow 7,500 pounds. I looked up the specs. It has 270 horsepower, 310 foot-pounds of torque, right? Obviously, that is humbles. It's not even comparable to, like, you know, the torque of, you know, my F-350 or whatever. But that's amazing numbers. Like, I've seen, you know, some videos. Okay, diesel. I've been driving this truck for the past 3 years, going on 4 years. This truck beats the heck out of me, okay? I mean, I wake up with my back's sore right now, you know what I mean? And you know, how much longer can I take the abuse of this old dump truck, you know? Look, this does not have air ride, okay? It's mounted straight to the frame. See that? It's mounted straight to the frame. Yeah, so you had the older Ranger. The newer Ranger, man, it's turboed. They got a turbo on it, right? It's turboed. It does 0 to 60 in like under 8 seconds or 8 seconds or something like that. So it's not slow. That thing, and check this out, Chris. It doesn't even have shocks on the front. It doesn't even have shocks on the front axle either. On the front, it don't have shocks. It's just leaf springs. Just leaf springs. No shocks. Right? So, whoa, almost bumped my head on that. So, how much longer can I take the abuse of this old truck, you know, without totally crippling myself when I'm ready to retire, you know? Oh, I know they are, John. I know they are. But I do not want to spend $80,000 for a pickup. I just can't spend 80 grand. I can't spend 80 grand for a pickup and then still get 15 to 20 miles to the gallon, you know, if you're lucky. I just can't do that. I can't spend 80,000. Hey Brian, just bought my first dump truck, 2000 Freightliner C15, 475 horsepower. Also, I will be buying a 20-ton flatbed trailer. Do I need to register both at 72,000 pounds? You definitely have to register the truck for the combined vehicle weight. You don't have to register the trailer for the combined vehicle weight. It only gets registered for the amount that it's going to be hauling, but the dump truck has to be the combined vehicle weight of the trailer and the truck. I don't want to make monthly payments, Chris. That's too much. I just want to pay cash and forget about it. Brand new Ranger's $40,000, top notch, Lariat, everything. You know, F-150, you're looking at 60, 55, 65, somewhere in there. You know, and then if you go for the diesel, you're talking about 80 to, you know, I mean, the sky's the limit with those things. So, I don't know what I should do, guys. Like, but I'll tell you this. I'm just tired of going and doing bids in my F-350 because it's too expensive to drive it all the way, you know, just everywhere. I don't like paying, you know, and filling up. And prices are rising on fuel. I don't know if you guys noticed, but Biden really effed this country over when he canceled that pipeline. Gas is almost $3 a gallon already. You know, when it was like 240, 220, now it's like $3 a gallon almost. Like I looked at diesel, it's already $3 a gallon. You know, it's sickening. You know, it was, you know, it's gone up so much just in a few months. And what do you think it's going to do? It's going to keep going up. You know, it's just going to keep going up. He definitely messed it all up. Yeah. I mean, he closed the pipeline, laid off all those union workers, and then after that, then he goes and tells the Taliban to do their pipeline so we can buy their oil. Like, what the flip? Like, is this guy for America or for the, you know, other countries? You know? So that kind of irritated the heck out of me. You know, so, and I'm a guy, I spend, you know, almost $2,000 a week, you know, every 2 weeks in fuel. $4 by next year. I believe it, Brian. I believe it. I believe it. I know you don't like the idea of a Ranger, Chris. Just go look it up, though. Just go look it up, man. Watch some videos on it. Watch some videos on a Ranger. I have not decided F-150 or Ranger. I want to go test drive both of them and, you know, see what they got. You know what I mean? I've never driven a Ford Ranger before. I wouldn't get much more than an XLT. I know, home and auto, that's probably the wise thing, but I want something comfortable, man. I'm 30, 32, 31 years old. I've been driving 30-year-old vehicles for my whole life. You know, except for my wife's car. That's the only newer car we've ever owned, other than the Super Dump, which I don't even get to drive that, you know. That's a 2011. It's turkey, cheese, mustard, and mayonnaise. Have to charge more. Yeah, you're right, John. I gotta start charging more. That is definitely, you're onto something now. You're right, Chris. Dude, like, they have some cool options, man. With the Lariat, they got locker on the back. They got, you know, the blind spot awareness. I mean, they're pretty sweet, man. They're pretty sweet. I'm not gonna lie. I'm okay. I was the guy that said I will never drive a compact truck. You know, I don't even know why they make them, right? But now it just makes sense. Like, fuel economy. I don't tow anything anymore, hardly. And if I do, it's with a dump truck, you know? Ryan, I think you need to go to the doctor. You're talking crazy. I probably do need to get my head checked. Well, I don't doubt that. They're always trying to tax small businesses. But Washington, another thing, they just keep increasing the fuel tax too. Tax just keeps going up on the fuel. I hear you on that. If you go with the F-150, you can probably get a lease turned in and save a bunch of money. So what do you mean by that, the home auto shop? What do you mean by that? Explain it to me. Because I'll be honest, I've only bought one vehicle at a dealership basically, and you know, I've only bought like one or two vehicles at dealerships, and I never really understood any of the financial stuff, so I just basically paid for them, you know. But I heard leasing is the most expensive way to own a vehicle. He's so against payments though. For our business, leases are legit. It's just a tool. It's just, I don't understand leasing. I heard leasing is like fleecing. That's what Dave Ramsey says. He hates leases. I just, you know, this truck is brutal on me. I never drive it to job sites because it's too expensive. You know, can I afford to do it? Yes, I can. But it's not comfortable enough for me to want to afford it. But you can write it off. Yeah. This is a nice truck, man. It's just, it's too bumpy. I mean, I find myself slowing down like to 2 miles an hour to go over a speed bump. I just don't understand leasing. I'm going to talk to one of my friends and see what she says about leasing. You're right. Probably a lot of businesses do that. So they can trade it in or whatever. Or, you know, they can keep their image up. but image isn't everything to me. Like, you know, I don't mind having old stuff as long as it looks nice. You know what I mean? So I think that would be like one of the main benefits of leasing is you just use it, and then when the newest one comes out, then you just trade it in, and then you're paying on that one instead. But you're keeping your image looking new, right? Fresh. But I do a pretty good job of taking care of my stuff, and all my old stuff looks good. You know what I mean? I don't know. Another thing is okay. So I just fixed my truck like a month ago. I put a new glow plug controller on it. I did new glow plugs. It's starting to smoke a little bit, you know, when I started up, you know. The Escape, I don't know how many miles are on that pickup. The odometer says like 70 something, but I mean, nobody's ever kept track how many times it's turned over, right? Our Escape, it has 187,000 miles on it now. You're right, Home and Auto. You know, I probably should buy a used pickup. I just want to make sure it has the options that I want. It's got to have leather seats. I want leather seats, and I want, you know, I want a Lariat package. I'll be honest. I want to be comfortable. Like, okay, fun fact about me, none of my vehicles that I've had in the past 5 years have had AC in them. None of them, right? Yeah, buy new, just not brand new. So, you know, none of my vehicles have had AC in the past. Actually, it's been longer than that. Maybe 6. I don't know. It's been a long time. I know that. None of them had AC. For the longest time, I drove that pickup. For like 3 years, 2 years. It don't even have power steering, right? It's a F350, doesn't have power steering, no AC. I have had a good sound system in all my pickups because that's a requirement for me. It's got to have sound so I can listen to my music. But I just want something that's more comfortable. You know what I mean? My wife's AC went out in her car like a year ago or so. Or if you want to buy new to say you've done it and get the new car feel, then I'm with that too. Just find one that someone else leased or traded in that 2 years old or so. You're probably right, Home and Auto. But I gotta find a Lariat package, you know what I mean? And if I do find something, I don't want it to have more than 50,000 miles. You know what I mean? I do not want something more than 50,000 because I know, you know, no matter what brand it is, you know, basically after 150,000, you're going to be starting to replace stuff. You're going to be replacing wheel bearings. You're going to be replacing tires. You're going to be replacing, you know, the foam isn't as nice as when they first bought it. It's been packed down by some fat dude, you know, or, oh, dude, trust me, no, the King Ranch package, dude, that package, I sat in a King Ranch one time, and I was like, this is my dream package right here. This is my dream package. The brown leather, oh, dude, man, those are comfy as heck. I could totally see myself getting the King Ranch package. You know what I mean? No power steering. No wonder the guns are big. Yeah. We talking company trucks. 2021 F350, white, preferably leather. I'll take cloth, but I'm going to gripe about it. Brandon, you're so funny. I'm thinking about selling that F350 and buying a 150 or a Ranger. I'm not sure yet. Everybody wants me to get at least a Ranger. They say, yeah, don't buy a truck for a fat guy. Because so when I bought the Escape, the previous owner had to have been a fat guy or a fat woman or something, because the seat was like totally like the foam was gone in it. It was only 3 years old, and they had to restitch one section of it. Yeah, what do you think I should get, Brandon? If I sell the F350, okay, so you're on here. I might as well ask you. Should I sell the F350 and the gooseneck? How often have I used it since you've been here? You've been like 7 months. Should I sell the gooseneck and the 350, or should I keep it? I'm thinking I don't use it enough. Sell it. Sell it. Buy like a 150 small trailer. You know, I'll be able to tow my side by side on it. I'll be able to tow like a car or something if I need to. Worst case scenario, you know. How about Duramax? I'll kind of be honest, Chris and Alex. I'd sell it. Just takes up space. Yeah, see, I don't even use it. I don't even use it that much. Brandon knows I don't even use it. It just sits there. I'm not a Chevy guy. I'm pretty much a Ford guy, I'll be honest. Ford sells the most. They make the most. There's more parts. Mechanics work on Fords more. They're more knowledgeable on how to work on them. Resale value is good because everybody knows Ford's, you know, a Ford is a Ford, you know. King Ranch with that 7.3 gas engine. I want something that's fuel efficient. Fuel efficient to do bids, so I'm not driving my wife's car. Or, you know, I guess the main reason I want something that's fuel efficient, I just don't like driving my truck. It's not comfortable for me. It's just not comfortable, you know. So I want something, maybe if it isn't as fuel efficient, I wouldn't mind taking it to a job site if it was more comfortable, you know. But my truck is just not very comfortable, you know what I mean? If job site's close, I'll take that every time because it has my company name on it and it looks, you know, everybody knows a square body Ford, man. Those things are cool, you know, but it's just not, the truck was not designed for comfort. So I'm thinking selling the pickup. Can you get a new Ford with a V8, or do you only come with the EcoBoost? If it's a 150, they sell the V6. They got 6 different ones. They got a whole bunch of different V6s, and they also got the diesel. They got the turbocharged, the double turbocharged. I had a 2015 F-150 with the 3.5 EcoBoost and got 20 to 23. So, okay, so Home and Auto, how did you like the 150 2015? Was it comfortable? Were the seats comfortable? Did it seem to have like the power you wanted? Like, tell me about it. I'd go with the 150. 150 Ranger is probably a bit better on gas, but it's too small in my opinion. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like, you know, but I just hate the sound of a V6 in a truck. I don't know, Chris. I'm not too much on the sound anymore. Like, I'm kind of over it. You know, I don't have to hear my motor anymore. I'll be honest. I don't really have to hear my motors because that truck right there cured me of that. I'm going deaf. You know what I mean? Like, I know I'm going deaf, you know? Like, I'm like basically yelling at you guys right now on YouTube, you know? But this is my normal talking now. Like, I feel like I'm yelling. Like, I don't sound like I'm yelling to myself, but I can feel myself, like, it feels like I'm yelling. But it doesn't sound like I'm yelling, you know? It was awesome. Okay. I had a 36-gallon fuel tank and had a 700-mile range. That's good. That is super good. the home and auto. Most motors are damn near silent. Have you heard those Tesla trucks? I haven't heard the Tesla trucks. That is probably another option I would consider. I know I might catch some backlash on how ugly the Cybertruck is. But dude, that thing, I mean, I watched the video of the release, right? And I seen the window crack and everything, but I was still sold on the Cybertruck. Even though it's ugly, it's practical as hell. Like, I mean, it just makes sense. Right, Chris? Like, here's the thing though, right? So it basically competes with the 150, the Cybertruck. You're never going to dent the thing though. Like, they took a baseball bat to it and it didn't even dent. If you did that to any new truck besides the Cybertruck, you'd have a big dent in your truck. Dude, that would be like, that right there would sell me. Just the fact that you can't dent the thing by hitting it with the baseball bat. Like, I mean, I thought that was pretty sick, you know? And Teslas, they got to be comfortable. You know they're comfortable, right? It's got to be comfortable. You got power inverters. You got, you know, it's got an onboard air compressor. It's not going to rust. It's stainless steel. Yeah, see, right, Bobby? It makes sense because, you know, you plug it in, you go do your bid, you come back, you know. You're not stopping at the gas station wasting time there. Oh, no, you're probably right, Chris. A car probably would. But you know how many times I've driven my truck and I've, you know, branches and stuff are rubbing right alongside it and scratching it all up, you know? Or somebody at a parking lot swings their door open and then, boom, there, you got a dent. Yeah, no, I don't think they make sense right now for the heavy duty yet, Bobby. But mid-size, you know, for contractors, it makes sense. They come, you can plug a welder into a Cybertruck. Like that right there sells me right there. I'm sold on that. Like if I plug my welder into my truck, I would buy one right now. I mean, that is just so cool. You know, what are you doing there, Super Trucker? I'm just walking around. I'm talking about selling my F350 and buying a 150 or, you know, a Ranger or something that's more economical versus, you know, driving my F350 to job sites. I think since you're stuck on Ford, the F-150 EcoBoost is the only way to go. Yeah, I mean, Ford or Cybertruck. I could see myself in a Cybertruck, I'll be honest. I'm not much of a Chevy guy, John. I'll be honest. I owned an 87 Chevy 1-ton, and, you know, granted, it was, you know, 30 years old. I had a lot of problems with that thing. You know, when I first got it, the motor blew. I replaced that. Then the rear end blew up on me. I fixed that. The transfer case blew up on me. I fixed that. You know, it caused a lot of problems. I've never had that many problems with any other vehicle than a Ford, you know. It makes sense. Yeah, I mean, Bobby knows I drive this to do my bids rather than this because this is more comfortable and more fuel economy. Yeah. I mean, do I think Chevys are bad? No, I don't. I think they're great pickups. You know, I think every brand, they're all great now. Like, they basically have to be. But I think Ford has more advantages because they sell so many. They sell them. There's so many more sold. Like, you know, more people like Ford than any other brand. That's why they're sold more. You know, people just love them. It's a fleet truck. you know, and I feel like, you know, if you buy an old vehicle and if you want to fix it up, what's the best brand to do? Ford. You can get any Ford parts on an old truck. You know, if you go to like Dodge, you're screwed. You're gonna pay out the nose, and it's gonna be hard finding parts. But a Ford, you can get any part, any, you know. I drive the car a lot. Two more comfortable, cheap on gas, easy parking, fun to drive. Yeah, Bobby, exactly. But here's the thing, though. When you show up to a job site in an SUV, I feel like you don't command the respect that is if you show up in a pickup truck. You know, like people have in their minds that when they think of excavation contractor or dump truck contractor, automatically there's an image of a pickup, not an SUV. I hate to say it. There's a stigmatism. Like you get more respect if you show up with the work truck, you know. Uncle bought a brand new Silverado Duramax, been in the shop a lot. Not Ram, those are garbage. Bank of the Cummins name and gimmicky big screen. That's right, I feel the same way. Exactly, gotta have a truck. Yeah, see, so you got, I mean, if I could get rid of a truck and drive a car and get the same respect, I would consider it, but you can't. When you drive a brand new truck, it looks professional. Yes. Oh, Chris, no doubt. I would never own a pickup that's not four-wheel drive. I'll just clear that right out right now. I'll never own a two-wheel drive pickup. I never have, and I never will. It doesn't make sense for my lifestyle. You know, I don't live in the city, you know, so it doesn't make sense to me. I like driving. We've had this property my whole life. Two-wheel drive would get stuck. You know, probably not on my driveway anymore, but when I was developing this, it would have got stuck easily, you know. I wouldn't have been able to drive it back here. You know, even the Escape is all-wheel drive, you know. Even my wife's car. We had a Jetta once. It was was it front-wheel drive? I don't think it was. I think it was rear-wheel drive. It was only two-wheel drive, though. And, yeah, I'm never doing two-wheel drive again. It's got to be four-wheel. Well, good luck with your decision. Let me know if you want to bounce some ideas off me, but I have to run right now. Hey, take care, Home and Auto. Thanks for tuning in and bouncing ideas. I like the fact that you liked your F-150. That definitely gives me a little more confidence in it, you know, especially with the fuel economy you were getting on it. So, I mean, I'm thinking getting a new pickup, you know, or a slightly used one, something that's comfortable, you know, something. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna sell that F-350. F-150 EcoBoost Lariat is your new truck. Maybe, Chris. I haven't decided, and it's probably gonna be a few months before I pull the trigger on everything, because I want to test drive a whole bunch of trucks, including the Ranger. I want to test drive them and see what will fit the best for the business and for the family. It's going to be a crew cab.
I'll be driving the majority of the time.
Yeah. In your dreams.
You probably agree.
Yeah. My wife thinks I deserve a new pickup, huh, honey?
Yes.
Yeah, she knows.
If we have the money,
If we have the money, I deserve it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've just, that old dump truck has beaten me.
Since we bought it.
It's beaten me up since we bought it. You know what I mean? So.
For 3 years, 4 years.
Yeah, 3-4 years basically. You know, she has to listen to me complain. You know.
I don't want to. Yeah. Just complaining.
Yeah. So, you know, so there it is right there. You know, I'm really buying it to make the wife happy. You know, so she don't have to hear me complaining. So.
If I can drive it.
Yeah, if she can drive it. You know, if we buy a brand new pickup, you would probably be scared to drive it, though. Be honest.
I did want do want to buy a truck though
Yeah.
for my next vehicle.
Yeah, she wants her next vehicle to be a truck also. And I
A
told her,
small truck,
yeah, she wants a small truck.
but my size.
He got the green light. Let's go to the dealership. Come on, Brian. It's Sunday. They're closed. Or I would. Well, maybe I'll get you the Ranger and get me the 150. What do you think, babe? Maybe we'll buy 2 pickups. That'd be nuts right there. Just trade in and... But then that would put the house off for a long time.
I just one. The Escape is fine.
Yeah. She still wants to drive the Escape even though it has 187,000 miles.
It still runs.
Yeah, it still runs. We're probably going to drive it into the ground, huh?
Most likely.
Yeah.
It's getting there.
They're saying 2 trucks, 2 trucks, 2 trucks. Yeah. I could see us doing that. That'd be nuts though. I could sell a Honda Acti, might fit the needs. Acti? What's that? Yeah. She don't want to drive a car. She wants a pickup. She has a thing for cars. She tends to get in crashes when she's driving a car.
That should be a bigger.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that would be super cool, Chris. If we here's so here's the other thing I'm thinking: dark blue with orange VANDUYN across the door, just like how my pickup is now, except for with the imagine the dark Ford blue, like basically the same as a Super Dump, except for all blue with VANDUYN dump trucking on the door. Oh, that'd be so wicked, right? Or VANDUYN right on the tailgate in the VANDUYN orange. No, not white. No, heavens no. We're not doing anything white here, man. No, orange and blue. It'd be too dirty. It'd be so dirty. It would look hideous. It wouldn't look professional at all. Yeah. No. Now he's chanting white. Yeah. Yeah, white with a wrap on it of blue and orange. I can see that. Yeah. That'd be crazy. So, anyways, guys, we got something to think about. You know, go ahead and, think on that for a little bit and tell me what you think on the next video. If you think it's a good decision to get rid of the F350. It's just kind of been sitting there. I mean, I haven't really driven it in the past, 6 months? I only drove it like maybe 2 or 3 times. And one of those times was I had to tow my grandpa's car to the dealership because he lost his keys. But other than that, I mean, I just don't use it. It's just sitting there. I use the Escape to do the bids because it's comfortable and it's more fuel efficient. And I think it's time to get rid of that F350 and upgrade to something a little more company man-ish. Later, boys. Got to go set up my new phone. Take care, y'all. See you later, Chris. Thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you guys later. Thanks for joining in, John. Thanks for joining in, Willie. Thanks for joining in, Home Auto, Billy Bob, everybody. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for tuning in, Brandon. And yeah, it is, John. It really is underpowered. It towed the excavator, but I'll be the first one to say it struggled. I mean, I almost didn't even want to put the video up, because I was like, oh man, how much backlash am I gonna get for towing a 50 with a IDI? I was worried everybody's like, Brian, what are you thinking trying to tow that with that? Like, you're nuts. Well, I mean, it did it, but it's not something you could do regular basis, you know what I mean? So, anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.